Have you ever wanted to play Rust on your mobile device? Well, stay tuned because things are about to get a lot more exciting. Now, some of you clever people out there might have realised this isn't Rust, it's actually The Last Day on Earth Survival. Now, we've been playing this game for, I believe, 2 days now, and one thing that's really gripped me is how similar it is to the way Rust seems to work. This is currently in open beta, but it has a lot of the same mechanics as it is a multiplayer game. You have to scavenge. You basically start the game from nothing and you can travel around the wilderness, and as you're travelling you can come across other players and actually fight each other to death, and the winner gets to take away the spares of the fight effectively. And what I found from my first encounter with somebody else is when you die, you lose all of the items that you currently have on yourself. So building a base is extremely important because it effectively throws you back to square one. Now what you can see is a map here of all the different locations. It gives you an idea of the difficulty, and you do have to travel to these locations, which can either you can fast travel or you can walk. Now I'm going to pick this location here and we're going to fast travel over and see what it's like. One important resource for you is to collect wood, which you first have to make your tool for, which requires 3 wood and 3 stone or limestone. You also collect grass and grass seeds, carrot seeds as it is. Food and water is so incredibly important, but you have to be careful not to over leverage yourself, as if you do die you ain't coming back with the items that you currently have. So it's a balance between making yourself survivable and taking too many of your best items out so that you're left short for later, which is it's quite a difficult balance. And also, if you do get unstuck, it's knowing when to run away. When you add in this, the fact of that you've only got a limited number of items that you can carry. That's if you've gone for the backpack. If you decided to get a backpack, which is highly important because it makes things so difficult if you don't have one. Progression in this game initially can be quite fast, and I've managed to get up to around level 20 in a very short period. But you have to be quite careful on the items that you do collect. You don't want to be just wasting a slot on a single item that you won't be needing for a good while. You want to be very selective. It's like if you're going out to scavenge wood, you want to maximise the amount of wood that you're going to be getting. Same for stone, because they're the basic raw materials that you're going to be needing quite a lot, at least in the first part of the game. Now you can see the weapon that I've got at the moment is substantially powerful weapon, which I actually found one downside with weapons is the more you use them, they do actually degrade, which is going to make it very difficult, because do you want to use your best weapon now and save a bit of health, or do you want to use a bit of your food and not such a good weapon? Once all your weapons are broken, you do have the option to bare knuckle box somebody, which is great, but you're going to leave yourself open to having to heal a lot more. Now I found this game to be extremely fun, but it is quite testing because it will throw you curveballs at any moment. But I highly recommend this game to anybody, and I look forward to see what the developers introduce with this game further when it does become gold effectively and it's released and it's no longer beta. Now this game online, I've managed to get quite a lot of traction on the likes of Reddit with people talking about the motorbike. I'm not sure if yet it is actually available to use, but last I heard is you can't actually use it just yet. There are things like the vault, where people were trying to find passcodes. You can find it quite early in the game just by fast travelling, and it's where you're going to find your first pistol, and there's no enemies there. There's a lot of electronic items which become useful later, so don't just delete them, you will need them. I've just managed to put together CB radio, but I haven't made contact with anyone just yet, but I do believe it's going to be some sort of trading option. Now, there's been quite a lot of talk on how you actually gain access to the vault, and it's something to do with a flash drive, I believe, which I have actually just found within the game. But in order to use it, I do believe you need some sort of electronics lab. Once I find more about this, there you can actually see the flash drive there. I'm actually speaking over the video at the moment, so I'm not actually playing. But later on in the game, you will be able to use that flash drive with an electronics lab to supposedly access the data, and the code for your vaults is supposedly quite unique, so you can't just simply go online and use somebody else's code. There's a few things that you have to be mindful of. It's like when you drink water from your water bottles, that will then turn into another item of an empty bottle. So do you want to use up an additional slot with empty bottles, because you never want to delete your bottles, because they're one of the most important ways for getting recurring liquids. They're so valuable. I always go out with at least 2 bottles. I've got around 12 or so, but I keep quite a few in my storage for later on.
Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you.
So you can take a look at my base here. You can see my crops that I've got, the motorbike that I'm putting together, and I've also built a lot of chests, because there's many items that you can collect. Chests I've found are so important. I've also began building and upgrading my walls to as high a level as possible. So I've been going out mining for lots of limestone and wood. That's why you see I've got 2 workshop tables, upgrading my wood, trying to process as much wood as possible to planks so that I can get my walls upgraded. In the background I've got a kiln working on, or smelt actually, working on turning raw metal into iron blocks. I've also got some raw meat being processed into cooked meat, so I've got as much food as possible for when I do go out my adventures. I've tried organising my boxes or my storage containers into different materials to make it easier for when I do come back after a journey. I've got planks in one, timber in another, stone in another. I've got 1 box for electronics and just 1 box for food, and I always go through the same process when I come back. I have a shower, I drink, and I throw all my empty bottles back into my water collector. Any seeds are very important to refill my stocks, collect all my carrots, so that I then can throw my carrots into my stores, or I can take them with me, just so that I've got everything working in the background, so that I'm constantly prepared for my next venture. You can see the number of bottles, putting the empty bottles back into my storage there. Right now I'm just going to complete my radio. I've been working on this for a little while, and it mentions at this point that I'm now going to have to wait for somebody to get in touch with me, and I'm guessing, I'm not 100% sure, that a trading option is now going to be available, so I can swap items that I've got a spare for items that are more required. So that's it for my first video. I hope you've liked it so far. I'm going to be doing another one going through the progress. If you've liked it, please subscribe, and I'll catch you later.